Hello, welcome to this video. I'm Milind Date and I'm the expert tutor for the SBL examination. In this video, I would be covering some important aspects about the concept of integrated reporting. Well, this concept is of relatively a recent origin in its present format, but extensively applied in comprehensive reporting to the stakeholders of an organization. Remember, this video is not a teaching video, but it will give you some perspectives and some important tips as to how one should go about learning this concept towards the preparation for your SBL examination. Let us first look at how this topic is included in the syllabus of this paper. Well, the concept of integrated reporting is there in the section B of the syllabus. And in a way, it is related to the process of governance, which leads to reporting to various stakeholders as a part of it. Very carefully, one has to look at the learning objectives, and the reason being, without understanding them, it will be difficult for you to set your preparation for the examination. So be careful in noting the learning outcomes, which focus primarily on the value of integrated reporting. And when we talk about value, it means actually the benefits, the usefulness of the integrated reporting for its stakeholders. The integrated reporting as a concept, when developed into a reporting form, there was a need for a specific framework. And this framework was developed by the International Integrated Reporting Council some years ago. And this framework talks about some of the guiding principles, the content elements, and the reporting about 6 types of capital to the stakeholders. And you will find this is included in the learning outcomes. Well, so far as preparation is concerned, you can always definitely refer to whichever study text you feel like. But let me tell you, this topic is very comprehensively covered in a friendly manner on the ACCA Study Hub. So I will definitely recommend you to go through chapter number 6.2 of the ACCA Study Hub for SBL examination. Apart from the conceptual clarity, the Study Hub also provides you an opportunity to test yourself through quizzes and also take a lot of practice questions so that you can face the exam type questions as a part of your practice. To begin with, you must study the basic concept of integrated reporting. Remember, examination like SBL, you will never be tested on your memory. So nobody would ask you a question like, what is integrated reporting? So there is no question of memorizing the definitions of any concepts related thereto. But you should be able to effectively demonstrate your understanding with specific reference to the organization in the view. So basically, when you talk about IR, integrated reporting, it's nothing but a way of communicating to the stakeholders the organization's value creation process. which takes a comprehensive account of its strategy, governance, even the performance as well as future outlook. And an organization doesn't create any value on its own. So it also deals with, the impact that external environment creates on organization in the process of value creation. You must be aware the way in which integrated reporting differs from the traditional reporting, which we know is mainly focused on production of financial statements according to IFRS or according to GAAP. But one more characteristic of traditional reporting is that it's presented in a fragmented form, unintegrated manner. But integrated reporting is done in a way to provide insights into the value creation process through a connected set of activities. And therefore, for the users, it will help to connect the strategies to the company's performance and therefore signals what's likely to be unfolded for the organization's business in future period of time. So it has that future or futuristic orientation. Now, therefore, understanding this concept will help you also to understand different goals of integrated reporting. Well, it does cover the short term, the medium term, and long term outlook for the company. And of course, the focus is definitely not restricted only to financial performance parameters, but also qualitative or non-financial drivers of value for the company. And because of its integrated nature, it tends to improve upon the quality of information that an organization shares with its stakeholders, reflecting on the factors that influence or drive value for them. And naturally, when the report communicates through its performance related to 6 different types of capital, there is a sense of accountability as well as stewardship towards the use of those resources. And therefore, the purpose, the whole idea behind integrated reporting is to understand and provide insights into the way in which these resources or these types of capital are interlinked, interconnected together. And this definitely promotes the integrated thinking in the decision-making process of an organization. So please try and understand the difference between integrated reporting, which is nothing but the outcome of integrated thinking. Integrated thinking, friends, is the approach the organization takes towards its strategies and performance as such. Let us therefore now try and understand the framework, which talks about basically a standardized way in which organizations are expected to connect to its stakeholders through reporting. And the framework developed by IIRC includes a set of principles based on which these reports are prepared, recommended contents of this report, which they call as content elements, and a commentary on 6 types of capital. See, when you talk about principles, they are not standards, please remember. It's not like IFRS where the use of the standards is mandatory. Principles stated within this framework are recommendatory. So please try and understand this when you're answering any question on IR in the SBL examination. The principles generally provide what should be included in the integrated report. It has to have strategic focus. So you are not expected to report on operational matters of the organization, but more focus is given on strategies. And the commentary is such that it helps the users to connect or to predict what's likely to unfold in the future period of time. Well, organization keeps using many resources, and these resources single-handedly do not create a value for the organization. And therefore, the report also tries to bring out the connectivity, how they are related to the stakeholders. And the framework also says that the information contained within the report has to be materially influencing the performance of the organization. But it should not be superfluous, but it has to be concise information provided, which stakeholders must find it as reliable and complete. And in order to look at the report on an year-to-year basis, the principle says that organizations should consistently apply the principles that are used while reporting. The content elements you can categorize into organization's overview, external environment to which definitely it is related, the governance aspects, the business model that is adopted by the organization, risks facing it, how it allocates the resources, and how it measures performance through a set of KPIs. Remember, in an examination, most of this information will be available to you directly or indirectly in the form of exhibits. So there will not be any question which will ask you, okay, what are the principles, what are the content elements, or what are the 6 types of capital? But it will ask your comments, your views, your opinions, when you're asked to analyze or evaluate the integrated report, of which excerpts may be given to you as exhibits. Or in the examination, the organization may be contemplating to implement integrated reporting in future period of time. And you may be therefore asked, okay, how this reporting would be, number one, different from the traditional, and how it will help the organization and its stakeholders. Now, please remember, in an examination, if a question like this is asked, you should not list down only the theoretical points, but must relate the comments to the case in the organization, to the scenario. You will not get any credit if you just go on listing the theory that you are aware of. Let's look at some of the aspects of the 6 capitals shortly. I'll tell you about some of the insights on the capital. The examiner also could test you on your understanding of what's the difference between integrated thinking and integrated reporting. Once such question was asked in one of the tasks in the past exam, and the examiner had pointed out very clearly the weaknesses of the students to understand the 2 concepts. Although the task was related to integrated thinking, most of the students by mistake wrote everything that they knew about integrated reporting and therefore did not get any credit. Integrated thinking actually is something which is embedded into the entire decision-making process of of the organization. So it's a decision model that is built for the purpose of achieving vision or mission of a company. And therefore, the objective is clear that all the activities, all the functions within an organization must be having one common goal integrated together so that performance on all aspects can be achieved by the organization. You should also know what are the 6 types of capital, and from the given exhibits, where to look for the information that is related to these types of capital. So let's very quickly look at what these 6 types of capital are and what information you should look for in the exhibits. Obviously, the financial capital is a concept that is very well known to us. Debt, equity, government grants, donations, depending on the type of organization. Don't be surprised if you are given a case organization, which is a not-for-profit organization, for whom financial capital will basically be government grants and donations received from general public. And this capital is used to acquire resources for the purpose of production of goods and services. Easy to find this information relatively. Manufactured capital, in very simple words, actually, you could take it as, non-current assets that are manufactured by other entities, but the organizations normally procure them and use them in the production process. But it's not that. It's also extended to include infrastructure like roads or ports or bridges, etc. Intellectual capital, on the other hand, has a reference to the intangible assets like patents, copyrights, etc. Either internally developed or, outright procured by the organization. Talent capital is very, very crucial in terms of competencies, skill sets, capabilities, experience, and diversity of the human resource that the company has. Along with it, when the teams work together, there's a sort of a work culture that gets developed. Don't lose sight of that from the exhibit. Maybe 1 or 2 sentences are given for that purpose. So ethical values of the organization, the employee engagement, employee loyalty are all parts of the talent or human capital. As I said, the organization doesn't work in a silo. It's very well connected with external stakeholders. So how the organization develops its relationship capital, its social capital with institutions, with social communities, with governments, with every other trade unions, every other party that is connected with their business in one way or the other. So what common norms, what common values the organization shares with them? Natural capital, of course, with the greatest emphasis nowadays coming towards environment protection and environment-related sustainability, the use of renewable environmental resources is in the forefront. So therefore, how an organization performs its duty towards protection of natural resources by reduction of waste or reduction of carbon emissions, etc., all that forms part of natural capital. Now, please remember, the exhibits in the SBL examination may provide you a qualitative information as well as some of the KPIs which are tracked over a period of time. You will have to find out the trends in the performance and how one capital could affect the other. Of course, remember, for all types of organization, all these capitals may not be of relevance, or may not be applicable to all types of organizations. But from the information given to you, you must be able to identify which information you can use for the organization in the question. And nowadays, of course, because the pre-scene is available to you, it would give you a sort of commercial acumen to identify what kind of capitals can be directly attributable to the performance of this organization. So that's the skill that you must, be able to use. Now, as I said in the beginning, the integrated reporting is only of a recent origin, last decade or so, not more than that. And the use of integrated reporting is not yet mandatory requirement. And because it is not mandatory, it is not used by all organizations all over the world. Second important thing that you should understand is about whether this report is subject to a mandatory audit and assurance. The answer is no. So don't give the suggestion, if at all asked, that it has to be always audited or assured report. No, it's not mandatory. But of course, if it is voluntarily done by the organization, it would add credibility to the reporting, and stakeholders' confidence will definitely grow. So the examiner may also ask you what are different challenges that the organization may face in getting its report audited. Well, of course, because the reporting standards are not there, they don't exist at the point in time, and it's very, very unlikely that the standards may come up in very, very recent future. The reporting standards will not be available, and that's one of the challenges. Second important challenge you could thrust upon is the sort of knowledge base that auditors may have. Generally, what happens, is the auditors know about financial accounting and reporting standards. They know about audit standards, but they may not be very well versed with the infinite insights about the business that the organization carries out. So they will have to have a lot of knowledge about, companies' strategies, companies' governance, companies' way of interconnecting the activity, its value chain, etc. More so, the information that is available in the various content elements is purely judgmental information, futuristic information, forward-looking. And basically, it's a management's view. How to verify that is another challenge for the auditors. So, on this concept, we may be asked questions which could be, related to any aspect of integrated reporting. So while learning, you must make sure that you learn all the aspects about integrated reporting. How it is tested, although I have given you some hints, basically based on my experience of the past exams of SBL, the role of integrated reporting, its value to the stakeholders, value to the company is often tested. How the task may want or require you to relate the information contained in an integrated report and how it becomes relevant information for the stakeholders. And also the testing has been, as I said earlier, on the integrated thinking concept. Well, being SBL paper, you also should be careful about what different answer formats for this particular concept can be required by the examiner. Again, based on the past exams, the answer formats required are different. A report to be written to the CEO, testing your commercial acumen. Because as I said, this concept is all about knowing the wider factors and external environment that affect the performance of the business. And that's what gets communicated in an integrated report. A briefing note for the CFO. Now, this was specifically asked based on the organization that was contemplating to implement integrated report in future. So that needs some kind of a persuasive language, and therefore communication skills were tested. Another format wherein communication skills could be tested is the slides preparation. The requirements could center around analysis and discussion, focusing on 6 types of capital, integrated thinking, integrated reporting, as I said. So you try and cover the holistic and strategic perspective in your answers. The long-term outlook, how the integrated reporting would help you, improving the reputation of the organization, how the employees could feel more engaged with it, transparency in communication, increased connectivity with the performance. All these are points that you should be able to stress in your answer. Well, so far as this concept is concerned, there's a lot of resources that are available to you. My personal recommendation, of course, to you is to make full use of the resources provided directly to you by ACCA, which you can access through your My ACCA account. And there, ACCA Study Hub, which is a very, very useful resource, providing you with a lot of quizzes, like test yourself, practice questions. You can prepare notes, you can bookmark things. Practice platform is another way, especially during the revision phase, where you can try past exam questions on your own and then try and match your answers with the suggested answers, etc. But don't forget to go through examiner reports. Let me show you a couple of examples of the examiner's report, and you will be able to understand on this particular topic. One of the past exams says weaker candidates saw trigger words or syllabus topics such as integrated reporting and wrote everything about that. And that's a mistake. Because without understanding the question requirement, if you go on writing everything that you know and ask examiner to pick up whatever he or she wants, that's not the right way. Another comment said that slides were focused incorrectly on integrated reporting, and the task was integrated thinking. So many candidates, because they didn't prepare, they did not have any idea as to what integrated thinking would mean, and naturally they lost marks. Candidates presented generic answers. Whenever you write like this, you're not going to get a pass for that question. It often happens, that's what the examiner says. You present a detailed description of capitals theoretically, that was not asked. And therefore, it gives you no, credit, no marks. So be careful in all these aspects. So in this video, therefore, what we have looked at is integrated reporting as a part of integrated thinking, which is embedded in the organization. How integrated report is used in comprehensive communication with stakeholders, and how it is prepared with the use of, key performance indicators. So that's it from me in this video. I think this video will definitely help you with a direction in which you should be studying this topic at length, approaching the examinations by solving a lot of practice questions from the ACCA Study Hub, from the practice platform as well. So thank you very much for going through this video.